streaming. And now we're going to start recording. Oh, here we go. Hey, how y'all doing? What's happening? My name is just Calvin, or CPJR 300 if you know me. And I used to have a podcast called Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges that I started doing on the, I think it was maybe April or May, either March, April, or May of this year, of last year, 2025. It was basically a talk about my life and what was going on with that. Things such as dealing with reclaiming your life, recovery, employment, IT things, different things, different facets of or different stages that I've been in my life. I'm currently like 59. I'll be 60 this year, and right now we're talking about what's going on with this regime. What's going on today, or what's going on that's relevant that we need to talk about, or I feel that I need to talk about with the public, of what we see happening every day. Like, you know, we're seeing rage in Minneapolis. We're seeing rage down there. We're seeing violence on a level that I can't believe. It's violence and intimidation, and the videos are hard to watch because you have women and they're like begging, please don't hit me, or please don't take him, or I don't know what to do. Just abject fear. I'm shocked that it's gotten this far. But we need to talk about it because, of course, in this week, this young lady was Renee. We had her name. Renee Nicole Good was killed, shot in the face 3 times, and a total of 5 times by an ICE thug. By the name of Ross, that's his name. So basically, we've already seen that he left the scene. I pretty much talked about how I felt about the incident on my first video. Of course, to me, it's unjustified. It didn't seem to take shooting someone. It didn't take shooting her 3 times to fix the situation that was happening. She was basically, and I don't understand why this enforcement is right. Let's talk about ICE for let's talk about ICE for a second. I'm sorry. Was ICE's immigration? I forgot now. Anyway, they're immigration enforcement, right? We used to have INS, Immigration Nationalization, and something else, but now we have ICE that was recently formed, and ICE somehow has the ability to go to any state in the country and do whatever they want to do, right? They seem to have, they don't report to anyone but the White House or DHS secretary, and they can pretty much attack. I used to believe that ICE didn't have any reason to come in contact with citizens, or because we were always taught that we didn't have to carry our papers with us. We're citizens. No, if I'm walking down the street, and I've had to do this before, walking down the street, being in a certain neighborhood, and the police come up and say, "Can I see your ID?" Hello, check one. I have every right to say no. You cannot see my ID. What did I do wrong? Or I would say, officer, why do you want to see my ID? Are you accusing me of something? Is something wrong? No, then I don't have to really show you my ID. I might have to get up and get some water. Okay, I see where it is. So I don't have to show you my ID, because I'm a citizen, right? But now we have the ICE has gotten the ability to go out, and because of decisions in the Supreme Court, if they suspect because you're brown and maybe you're black, you don't look like the white heritage, their idea of what the country should be, you automatically are allowed to be questioned and threatened and beaten and dragged across. You know what I mean? And if you're a white person and get in the way, you have the right to be killed because you're interfering with their ability to beat, drag, kidnap, and disappear as many brown people that they can. And just to see how it's being carried out, I didn't believe we'd get this far. There's some people who seem to really enjoy seeing this. They're trying to make a reality show out of it. There's videos of just of grotesque violence, but nothing is going to be done. So my whole remedy for the situation is ICE needs to be defunded completely. And start over. Whatever they were doing before 2022 or whenever this started, go back to that and then come forward. Because what you got right now is out of control. Because basically, if you think about it, excuse me, what's that? Okay. All right. So basically, if you think about it, ICE has the ability to do whatever they want to do. And ICE is just supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be getting warrants on people who didn't show up for their court dates, and maybe they would investigate, or if they're called in, if someone is captured and their immigration status has a problem, the local jurisdiction may reach out to them if they were, a cool organization or an organization that actually knew what they were doing, because. Right now, the numbers aren't matching up. The numbers were higher under the Democrats than the deportation numbers were higher under the Democrats than under this current administration, because their whole thing isn't about. It's just a big conspiracy theory. So I don't want to get too much into that. Let's just want to talk about exactly what's happening right now, or what I think is happening, and I'm going to share a video of some good information about I wrote a essay about this about how come we're so upset with each other, and why the online social media sites, why we all of a sudden we come on the line and we get into arguments. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of wondering how that happens. Like I follow pretty liberal people. People that kind of lean very left, progressive, and I don't follow any MAGA types, right? I don't have any. I don't see any MAGA type posts in my feed on say Instagram or TikTok. Facebook is a mess. I'm not on X, so. On those feeds, I don't really see. Sometimes when I go read comments, I read like on Huffington Post. Those are all left. I'm a progressive. So when I see those spaces and going to comments, it seems like everybody is not on. People there some people are there just to read and talk about it and discuss what's happening, and some people there just to tell you that this is how dumb liberals behave, or that this is the liberals are going to get, things like that, want to own the libs. You see a lot of that. And I don't know how that happens, but I'm finding out what I know. We know a lot of it's coming from foreign agents, bots, houses, or what do they call them? I forget what they call them. Farms. Bot farms, and people are just sitting there, just sending out memes and turning out comments, and then turning out posts, and then comments, and then rebuttals, and just going keeping things at a certain level. But I see that most of those comments are really from bots or really foreign agents, like people that they would say stuff, they would say things that we normally wouldn't hear. Like I don't. The whole thing about being called a leftist, I don't know where that came from, or how that all of a sudden started showing up more and more and more and more leftists. And I'm not sure why leftism is the bad thing, unless it's going to be all the way to communism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure what's bad about that, because I'm not upset if someone's a conservative, right? They're a right wing zealot or a Christian nationalist, anything like that. But a leftist, you just leaning left. That's our ideas. I'm not sure if an idea is a bad thing. But so it seems like a lot of this dialogue that we have, or this discord, is being driven by something else outside of the United States. Because most of the things, especially when I see uh, the encouragement of someone who is being affected by ICE to, practice their Second Amendment rights. That's all I hear is like, go get, we have Second Amendment rights too. Go get your thing and practice your Second Amendment rights. But then, why are you saying it to this person online? Why aren't you expressing yourself Second Amendment rights? Why are you telling this person to do that? We're not going to win this thing is to go head to head. All right. If they have to call martial law, that's a wrap. We don't win. I was listening to the mayor of Minnesota. I'm sorry, I forget his name, but he was saying that they're saying, well, how come we don't do what to get the national, or go get him or something like that with the arrest of Ross. And he was saying they have bigger guns. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to take on one state, or not going to be able to take on the military. We got the best military in the world, and it's huge. It's huge. I'm a geek about studying or looking at YouTube videos about different aspects of the military. That's how I found this next guy on different about what happened in World War II, what happened in World War One, what kind of weapons were used, what kind of planes, why the Luftwaffe was so successful up until a certain point. How that bombing they were trying to do, high level or high altitude precision bombing, was a mess. That's what really tore Europe up, and a lot of people died in that from Allied bombing. The bomb sites didn't work. They were just dropping bombs everywhere. A lot of people died, and they were wondering why were they doing that. A lot of it wasn't discussed, but a lot of it's discussed now. Anyway, so that's my train of thought. So I watched a lot of stuff like that. So I don't know what I was talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this video. So the video I'm going to show is that we know that a lot of comments or posts that we see are done from foreign agents, and it seems like, especially since this last incident with the shooting of Renee Nicole Good, there's like videos everybody sees the videos of what happened, right? There's videos of and from different angles, and then we got a video from his camera, and we know the last words that she said. We saw her face smiling and saying to trying to de-escalate the situation, you know what I'm saying, look, and then to have ICE just come at her like that, and I don't know why they were doing that, right? I always thought, I'm not sure what they were trying to do by getting past or through her car. They could have went around her. She wasn't. I don't know. There's no excuse for what happened. So anyway, there've been a lot of people who really believe that because Christy Numbs, her first instinct was to lie and say exactly, say the situation, say what happened, but then what she said doesn't match up. It doesn't match anything in the video. It's completely different to the fact, to the point where she said he had to go to the hospital, but we also saw him walk off, get in the car and drive away. I don't even know what you say about that. What do you say about that? You know what I'm saying? Why is she still in office? I mean, if he went to the hospital, there's records of that. So can we pull those records? There's so many ways to prove that he didn't go to the hospital. It doesn't make any sense. But she just sit there and doesn't flinch and just double down and say that's what happened. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your eyes. So the reason I'm on this also is because I see the way it affects me. I get upset. I want to come back at somebody in comments when they say something crazy, like she had a comment or she was getting ready to hit the guy, or I'm glad she's dead. All this kind of stuff. You see those comments all the time. And like I said, I don't really see any MAGA videos, so I don't really know what that whole side is saying over there, because I don't follow anybody. So even if I did follow them, I would block them and not follow them because of the vile things they post. So I'm trying to wonder, so what we need to believe or think is that there's a lot of MAGA people that have the same post that I get in their feed, and it makes them upset. So they will comment on the post, right? And then to the point where they don't get upset. And maybe if you don't want to get that upset, maybe take that out of your feed. Because that's probably why I do it. I do it because I don't want to get upset. I don't want to see see their stuff in my feed. So I just will just not look at it, right? So I kind of think there's something going on. I kind of think that we have some people who may benefit from us always being upset with each other, and then if you wanted to destroy the United States, but you didn't have the military to do it, because nobody does, what better way to do it this way, to get us to civil war? And then who wins in a civil war? No, none of us wins. Nobody that lives here. See, I can call us American citizens. None of us, people that grew up here, I'm Gen X, I had a great time here, are gonna win if we start shooting each other, right? That's not a way. That's not going to solve the problem that way, right? But I understand violence begets violence. But us black folks, we didn't get our violence. We didn't get our civil rights through violence. We got our civil rights through peaceful protest. Because we know this group is dangerous because they have to be worried about going to jail. There's no way you do all that and have no thoughts about, oh, I'm gonna be fine when I leave office. I ain't doing nothing illegal. You did a lot of stuff illegal. A lot of illegal things were done by this group. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. Just pay attention to it. The guy's name, whose name is Ryan McBeth. I think it is. Information will be in the show notes and a link to this video. Please follow, subscribe to his stuff because it's good. But his stuff is mainly about weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like weapons or how they gather intelligence. Because he's an engineer. He's a software engineer, I think he is. And then I think he's an engineer. I'm not sure. Engineering does an intelligent analyst. So he knows about that world. And has a lot of good information but a lot of it's about weapon systems. So you might not want to know about that, but I think it's pretty important to know about right now because we could be at World War III at any moment. I mean, there's so much. Y'all know in the Bible it says what it says. It says wars and rumors of wars. That's where we are right now. Because we know that, and I got a surprise after the video. And we'll come back and talk about it. And let's go.
On Wednesday, January 7th, 2025, a woman named Renee Nicole Good was shot by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, I'm not going to show you the video. Either you've seen it or you can find it if you want. But in this roughly 4.5-minute video clip, a woman in a red minivan is surrounded by ICE agents. One ICE agent is either in front of the vehicle or a little to the front and to the side of the minivan. And when this woman tries to drive away, the officer opens fire. Now, there is some debate as to whether or not this is a lawful action, a lawful but awful situation, or downright murder. But this video isn't about that. It's about tracking the disinformation spreading online about the event. A couple of things to start, since a lot of new people might view this. Hi, my name is Ryan McBeth. I'm a software engineer and intelligence analyst, mainly focusing on intelligence collection and cyber warfare, or CYBINT, with a focus on how our adversaries practice information warfare. What I am not is a lawyer or police officer, so I can't tell you what is and isn't lawful in this situation, but I can tell you how our adversaries are using this event against us. I do this a lot. Subscribe if you want more of this stuff. And if you want to support my work, please consider tossing me $5 at ryanbeth.substack.com. I also have a free member page there as well. I identified 5 phrases that were common among tweets about the incident. Those phrases were her car, she was driving away, legal observer, Renee Nicole Good, who is the name of the deceased, and Jonathan Ross, who is the ICE agent who opened fire, as reported by the media. I plugged these phrases into Cyabra social media threat detection software, and I found some pretty interesting.
Sorry, so I want to pause right there. This website does exist. It's expensive to get onto, but it does exist. This is a real tool. Okay, go and let it go roll. Let's go back to the video.
Things. First off, you have to remember, when events like this strike, our adversaries will use these events to further divide us as a nation. They want people angry. Second, social media companies do not care. They want you angry and clicking and scrolling so they can show you ads for the Lexus and the BTS meal. If you've watched any of this footage, you were likely manipulated by inauthentic actors who feed our need to dunk on Team Red or dunk on Team Blue. So the first thing I want to show you is the power of AI, or artificial intelligence, in this incident. This image was generated by an account called Scummy Mommy 511. It is an AI-generated image.
Stop right here 1 second. So this is the video. This is the image. This is the image. So I started noticing how a lot of people were, and why I looked this up, and why I wrote what I wrote, and why I am doing this video is because I started just hitting people had a totally different view or a totally different opinion on what they saw or what happened, but I didn't know, and now I know there was actually an entirely another image created by someone and put online. So this image was going around too, and because I don't see that side of social media, that MAGA side, this is the image that they were going by, and all they saw is that she was gonna hit him, but that's not a true image. This was the image that was sent around to cause us division. Okay, back to the video.
Likely created with the intent of tricking people into believing it was real so it could be repeated by people who claimed that the ICE officer's life was in danger. And again, this is a very powerful emotion because an image like this could prove that this particular officer is directly in front of the minivan when the incident occurred, thus dunking on Team Blue. And this tricked a few people, most notably ex-user Gunther Eagleman, also known as David Freeman, who is on Team Red, and I guess you could best describe him as a professional internet troll. I've actually made numerous videos about this guy. He is a disinformation gift that keeps on giving, but I mention this because it shows you how fast people jump to supporting Team Red or Team Blue without stopping and thinking first. Now, these 5 phrases I identified were her car, she was driving away, illegal observer, Renee Nicole Good, and Jonathan Ross. I entered them into the Cyabra social media threat detection software. The results were very telling. So first, let's talk about the phrase, her car. This phrase was actually used in a tweet about the incident made by Vice President J.D. Vance in response to a comment made by a user who described themselves as a civil liberties attorney. The tweet got 10.7 million views. But the highest performing tweet with this particular phrase was by ChessChick01, who said, she is ordered out of the car, she refuses, she backs up, she drives forward into an ICE agent pulls out gun only when she starts moving forward into his body, self-defense, case closed. Now, following that tweet were about 23,000 replies and 29,000 shares. But the actual number of repeats of that phrase from inauthentic profiles were 28%. This is following the hashtag of ICE agent and Renee Nicole Good. So if you interacted with anybody on these topics, they had the text her car, you had a 28% chance of interacting with an inauthentic user or one of our adversaries. The next phrase is she was driving away. In this case, 34% of the interactions were inauthentic. So here's an example. The inauthentic user Adam Media said, breaking, Trump says that woman killed by ICE ran over ICE agent. As you can see, this isn't true. She was driving away and shot while turning away from agents. This was viewed 5.4 million times. This was the highest viewed item. This is pretty darn scary. You had a 1/3 chance of interacting with someone who wasn't real, someone who was designed to drive your anger. Next is the phrase legal observer, which was actually the first pattern that I noticed. This was from Representative Jerry Nadler, from Representative Sarah Jacobs, from a Muslim civil rights organization, and from Representative Ilhan Omar. And a lot more after that. And that was kind of the first clue that this particular line, legal observer, might have been part of a script. In the intelligence community, this is what we call a clue. So it certainly looked like some sort of talking points were sent out to use the words legal observer. When I saw this, I thought, oh, this was a bystander who was legally observing something, right? Like you're standing on the sidewalk, you're observing legally. I mean, when you're in public, you have no reasonable expectation of privacy. That's why it's legal to record somebody outside your home on a Ring doorbell. But no, a legal observer is an actual program from the National Lawyers Guild where you Monitor, observe, and document government conduct against First Amendment protected activity. Provide arrest support for protesters on the ground and help support teams track and help arrested folks. And empower activists and serve as a deterrent to unconstitutional behavior by law enforcement. So was this person a legal observer who was legally observing? Were they obstructing police activity, or were they just a scared woman in a minivan who was wrong place, wrong time? I don't know. But what I do know is that 25% of the accounts who use this term are inauthentic. The highest interaction with over 1 million views came from an ex-account called Young Walk-In, who said, "This is a dividing line for America. If you think a 37-year-old citizen mom, legal observer, deserves a bullet to the head for some mass federal Gestapo, you are just beyond the pale. I don't recognize you as a good faith actor, someone whose opinion is worth a damn." The interesting part is that many of the interactions with this particular account were likely AI generated from inauthentic accounts, such as, did she show her legal observer card while blocking ICE agents? Is that a get out of jail card? Need to get me one of those. Again, this is designed to enrage you. Next is the phrase Renee Nicole Good, who is the deceased woman at the center of this incident. Most of the inauthentic profile topics centered around her name, along with ICE in Minneapolis. In this case, 17% of users who interacted with this topic were inauthentic. The user with the most interactions is a profile called Afro-Pessimistic, who received 2.8 million views. While this particular user is authentic, the text is likely AI generated. One interesting thing here is that in this particular subject, I noticed there was an association with Trump and Renee Nicole Good, like those words go together. And what's also interesting is that a lot of the authentic profiles have a negative connotation between President Trump and Rachel Nicole Good, whereas inauthentic profiles tend to have associations with ICE and Rachel Nicole Good. That tells me is that foreign inauthentic actors are trying to spread anger about ICE, whereas authentic actors are users who are angry at the president directly. This indicates to me that we may be at a turning point in immigration enforcement that foreign actors haven't caught up with yet, and people are holding the president directly responsible for this tragic outcome. Finally, we have the phrase Jonathan Ross, who is
Okay, I'm gonna leave that there, but it's basically an 11-minute video. But you see where we're going. You can, like I said, go look at the whole thing. But you see what I'm driving at is the fact that a lot of the post comments we see, what's going on, what's driving the conversation isn't us. It's actually coming from outside of us. So I would encourage anyone to think about what they see and then try to think about, is it who is this post really going to benefit if I do, like, this whole thing about let's have a armed conflict because we all have Second Amendment rights. I understand that sounds good, but it sounds good, but it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. And that's not how we got our civil rights. So you might want to learn from us and learn from real history when we had to actually overcome. They actually have a harder time getting over a peaceful group than a rough group. Because when you're too rough with them, they can get rougher with you. And they're going to get rougher. And I know somebody say, oh, we got, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Why you talking about it online? Why you encouraging someone else not out there doing it? That's what I keep saying. That's why I keep saying, I have never seen so many, like, it's too late time. Get this Second Amendment time. Show them your Second Amendment. And you're online saying that to people. But I don't see anyone actually doing it. All I see is people encouraging other people to do it online. And I doubt if it's an American doing it. It could be a foreign agent because they would love to see this thing go up in a civil war. All right. So that's what I mean. Like, that's where it's at, right? Like, there's something that's driving us, and basically, what I've decided to do for myself is just not comment on online anymore. It's hard. Like, don't comment because I get in. I get into a lot of, like, too much. It's just ridiculous because basically I'm not talking to anyone that I know. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you said it. And I'm just gonna block you anyway. It's a good way to find people to block. And my account been somebody tried to break into my Instagram account twice. So I don't even know what, I don't know you. Why am I having an argument with you? Why am I letting you change how I feel about something? Right? I feel sad about Renee being shot. I feel upset that she was shot and how she was shot. I feel upset about how ICE is behaving in our neighborhoods and how they're treating people and how they're being violent and how in the detention centers we don't know what's going on in the detention centers, do we? I don't have any idea, and you don't have any idea. So basically, let's say my practice now is just not to comment. If I need to scroll, because I need to stop scrolling anyway. So I need to scroll. If I need to look at something, it's just the opinions with me. I already know that anybody that posted this that I'm looking at is already aligned with me, and I know that most of the people that are probably commenting under the post is aligned with me, but I'm letting some people that may not be aligned with me coming in with, I don't know what their purpose is to upset us. Well, I know the purpose if it's a bot or a foreign agent, their purpose is to upset me, to upset us, to have us at each other. So I understand that part. So don't play. That's my practice now. My practice now is just to actually stop scrolling altogether, look for news and print or and talk about that or post that, but don't fall for getting in comments because basically if you're still a MAGA at this point, you're in it for life. This is you are white supremacy, you are Christian nationalism, this is your thing, and me arguing with you online is not going to change that, right? You're never gonna understand me, you're never gonna like me or my family, and that's just that. But you still gotta respect me because we're still both American citizens, and we're in this together. Never do depart. We're in this together. We'll make it through this one too. Okay, I do want to talk about one thing before I get off of this. I love the subject. Actually, I'm really interested in knowing about the how much has social media brought this to a terrible place, because arguing with somebody you don't know is just dumb. It's just dumb. Why do you got to do it? Don't do it. Stop arguing with people you don't know online. They don't care. They're not going to change their mind. So let me look for So I'm keeping track. I haven't seen it yet, but I decided to keep track of the number of people that have been killed. Remember I told that last time. I said last time, I wonder how many people have been killed by this regime since President Trump took office. He has the military under his command. He is able to drop bombs. He has the ICE Gestapo running around doing. I don't know if it's his or Stephen Smith's. It's one of the two, but they're riding around doing all the damage they can do. So the numbers are unofficial. These are the number of people. The number of people, it's a running total, of course, because I think they ordered some bombings last night. It was either in Syria or Somalia. And we know they're going to bomb Iran after the government of Iran has attacked, the government and the military of Iran has attacked the protesters, right? And I bet he wants to protect the protesters. So he's going to bomb Iran, which is ironic because the protesters in this country are being oppressed and beaten up by the government. So who's going to bomb us? Anyway, so the running total right now, we have 30 vessels in the Caribbean that have been blown up. 30 vessels that I could find online. I did all this research myself. I'm not a researcher or a journalist. Some numbers I could find, some numbers I couldn't find. So there are approximations, and the total is approximate because I said it happens. Things are happening every day. People are dying every day. So we had 30 vessels blown up in the Caribbean. We don't know if they were going to. They were just blown up. We don't know what they were blown up for. The reason, I don't know why they were blown up. So we had 30 boats blown up in the Caribbean. That's 95 people killed, right? 95 people killed. We don't know their names. We don't know their families. We don't know where they were from. We don't know what they had on the boat. All we know that they were killed by the military. So we bombed Nigeria. Nigeria, I guess, is a struggling nation, failed nation. So they don't have a number. I don't know how many people died there. So right now we at 95. Bombed Somalia, and I think it's approximately 11 people were killed. Syria, I can't find the number of people that died in Syria. I'll keep my head. I'll keep looking for that. Iran. He bombed Iran. That's the big one. 1,100 people were killed in Iran. I don't need to verify that. I think that's right. So 1,100 people killed in Iran. That was for. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up either. Yemen, we bombed Yemen. That's the Houthis. That was for Israel. Yemen, 500, approximately 500 in Yemen, and we bombed Iraq. I didn't even know this was a precision kill, so it probably was a drone. 2 people were killed there as the leader of ISIL. So 2 people in Iraq are dead. That brings us to a total of, at this point, I'm not finished, a total of 1,708 people, approximately. All right. So Venezuela, the raid to Entebbe. That's a good movie. Venezuela, the raid to get Maduro. 80 people, approximately. They say 80 to 100. We don't know the exact number at this point. I haven't found it. It's not published. So approximately 80 people. So that brings us to 1,788 people. So this is the one I'm really worried about. The deaths in the ICE detention centers. These are deaths that have been reported. These are deaths that are reported, so we know they have a reason. These are old age, sickness, people that have died while they're in detention. That's 35. That's the number I'm afraid we really don't know, and how bad it can actually get. They want to keep people in warehouses, so that number is bound to go up, unfortunately. And then we have the number of people that have been killed by ICE agents. That's 4. 4 people have died by ICE thugs. I don't call them agents, ICE thugs. And they have discharged the weapons 17 times, and that 17 times does include the 2 after the murder of Renee. Those 2, but they were okay. They didn't die. They were wounded. So the total of discharges from firearms they shot at 17 people. And it comes to a total of after the 4 deaths, that comes to 1,827 people. Approximately 1,800 people have been killed or have died because we elected. We elected 47 to the White House. All right, so that's it. We're going to keep track of that total. I don't know when I'll be back. As soon as I hear something good I want to talk about, I'll come back. Any questions, reach out to me, let me know. All right, hope that was interesting. It was interesting to me. I'm definitely going to change my practice to just not reading comments. If I have to scroll, which I don't really have to scroll, just take the information and try to let it sit with me and let it aligns with me already. So why would I need to? Because I keep my my algorithm clean, I guess. If the information aligns with me. Oh, I want to say thank you to all the people that create pet videos. The dogs, I love those. Those really give me something to laugh and smile about. All right, so I'm gone. My mouth is dry, and I'm gone. All right, peace. See you next time.